Kareem Hunt kept the momentum going by converting the fourth and one. His performance stood out because he showed something the Chiefs have been missing: great vision and the ability to make defenders miss. Hunt forced 7 missed tackles and gained 64 yards after contact, making him a crucial part of the offense. Once Isaiah Pacheco returns from injured reserve, this 1-2 punch with Hunt could be a game-changer for the Chiefs. After that fourth down conversion, the drive ended with Chase Young breaking through the offensive line and forcing Mahomes to settle for a field goal. Butker made his second kick of the night, putting the Chiefs up 13-7 just before halftime. The Saints tried to respond, but went 3 and out after Nick Bolton blew up an Alvin Kamara screen pass. Bolton's defensive effort set up Mahomes and the offense to march down the field quickly. Mahomes connected with Juju Smith-Schuster for 3 passes on that drive, gaining 46 yards. Then Kelce brought them to the 10-yard line. The Saints' defense held strong, but Butker kicked his third field goal of the night, making it 16-7 at halftime. The Chiefs received the ball to start the second half. Before getting into the second half, I want to address an issue with Skyy Moore. Just before halftime, Skyy muffed a kickoff. He managed to recover it and returned it to about the 20-yard line, but a touchback would have brought them to the 30. It wasn't a disaster, but this raises a question. What are the Chiefs doing with Skyy Moore? Skyy was expected to contribute more this season, but he's struggled. He's dropped passes on third down, muffed punts, and now mishandled a kickoff. Fans and analysts alike are questioning his role on the roster. Should the Chiefs bench Skyy Moore for the rest of the season? He's entering his third year, but it feels like he's still not making a meaningful impact. Now, back to the game. Kareem Hunt started off the third quarter strong, and Mahomes took a deep shot down the sideline to Worthy. There was some contact that could have drawn a pass interference flag, but nothing was called. Instead of moving the ball inside the 15-yard line, the Chiefs had to attempt a 51-yard field goal. Butker, who is usually reliable from that distance, missed it by hitting the upright. It was his first miss of the night and only his second of the season. The good news is, the defense stepped up again. On the Saints' next possession, Turk Wharton got his first full sack of the season, shutting down Carr on 3rd and 12. The Chiefs had a great opportunity to seal the game in their next drive. They were up by 9 points, and a touchdown here would have extended their lead to 23-7 near the end of the third quarter. Carson Steele managed to convert a 3rd and 1, and a defensive pass interference DPI call on Xavier Worthy after a deep shot from Mahomes set them up in the red zone again. Things got a bit tricky here, though. Mecole Hardman fought hard for a first down, bringing them to 1st and goal. A couple of plays later, Mahomes threw an RPO pass to Juju Smith-Schuster for what could have been a touchdown. However, the throw was a little behind Juju, but still catchable. The problem was that Juju ended up gripping the football awkwardly, like he was holding an ice cream cone, and it got knocked into the air just high enough for former Chief Colin Saunders to tip it, intercept it, and rumble down the field to the 35-yard line. This was yet another example of the Chiefs' red zone struggles this season. Thankfully, it didn't cost them the game, but a touchdown there would have put the game away. Instead, it kept things tense as the Saints drove down the field in just 8 plays, covering 65 yards and scoring a touchdown. It was a well-executed red zone play where tight end Foster Moreau faked blocking and slipped up the field for an easy score. This brought the score to 16-13 because the Saints surprisingly missed the extra point. In the fourth quarter, Juju Smith-Schuster made up for his earlier mistake by getting wide open for a 50-yard catch. Tyrann Mathieu slipped in coverage, allowing Juju to sprint up to the 14-yard line. A few plays later, the Chiefs lined up in a unique formation, and Travis Kelce took the direct snap on a read option. He correctly read the defense and handed it off to Xavier Worthy, who zigzagged his way into the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the season. This extended the lead to 10 points. Turk Wharton then got flagged for a personal foul after open palm striking a Saints player in the face. But Nick Bolton shut down Alvin Kamara on the next few plays, and on 4th and 8, the Chiefs sent an all-out blitz. Carr, under pressure, threw up a desperate pass that fell incomplete. It was a catchable ball, but the intended receiver couldn't bring it in. The Chiefs just dominated the Saints so completely that they ended up with double the net success rate of any other team in Week 5. What's even more surprising is that the Chiefs' offense was only operating at a B- level. They struggled to score touchdowns in the red zone and are still figuring out their identity without key players. This should be a huge warning sign for the rest of the NFL, because if the Chiefs are already this strong, While not playing at their best, they are on the verge of becoming unstoppable and could be Super Bowl favorites once again. So, let's break down this win over the Saints, along with an update on Rashee Rice. But first, let's talk about why this game was a turning point for Kansas City. This was the first time in a while that the Chiefs played a non-stressful game that didn't go down to the final moments. The last time they did that was against the Dolphins in the wildcard round at Arrowhead during the infamous Frostbite Bowl. Heading into their bye week with injuries piling up on the offensive side, this decisive win is exactly what they needed. The game started with a wild third down play by Alvin Kamara, who reversed the field and moved the chains. However, a few plays later, the Chiefs' defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo dialed up the pressure, and Derek Carr made a poor decision, throwing a floater off his back foot. Safety Bryan leaped to intercept it, and although his run back was called back due to being ruled down by contact, it was still a crucial turnover. This was the first game all season where the Chiefs didn't allow points on the opponent's opening drive. Patrick Mahomes and the offense took the field with Kareem Hunt, who was making his homecoming debut as a Chief at Arrowhead. Hunt made a big impact on the first drive, alongside Travis Kelce. Kelce caught 3 passes, including a 21-yard gain over the middle. With the help of Noah Gray, they moved close to the end zone, and Hunt powered his way in for the first touchdown of the night. From there, both teams traded a series of 3-and-outs until Derek Carr threw an incomplete deep pass, leading to another Saints punt. The Chiefs started gaining momentum again, thanks to a first-down catch by Jody Fortson, who had just been signed to the active roster. Mahomes made a great play to avoid pressure and used Hunt as his safety valve to move into the red zone. It seemed like they scored again when Mahomes found Noah Gray for a touchdown, but it was called back due to a holding penalty. In the end, Harrison Butker kicked a field goal to extend the lead to 10-0. The Saints responded quickly, though, with Carr connecting on a deep strike to Rashid Shaheed for a 43-yard touchdown. Shaheed made a sharp move on Bryan, finding himself wide open in the end zone. This was a turning point in the game, but the Chiefs bounced back with a strong offensive series. They started using an unusual 4 tight end formation, featuring Kelce, Gray, Fortson, and Blake Bell. This strategy isn't common in the NFL, but it worked for Kansas City, allowing them to control the game and run the ball effectively. Even though rookie Carson Steele fumbled on a trick play later in the game, the Chiefs' offense and defense stayed strong, making this a solid team win as they head into their bye week. Kareem Hunt made some amazing plays in the game, but there were moments where things went off track. The Chiefs were averaging 5.8 yards per carry on the ground, so calling a trick play seemed unnecessary. Just running it straight up the middle had been working perfectly. That trick play resulted in a fumble by Carson Steele, but the Chiefs managed to recover the ball. However, it pushed them way back to a 2nd and 34 situation. The commentator joked, calling it 2nd and Overland Park, which added some humor to a frustrating play. Juju Smith-Schuster managed to make it 3rd and 22, and then Travis Kelce made one of his trademark plays. Mahomes told Kelce to just get them into field goal range, but Kelce had something else in mind. He noticed Samaje Perine creeping up the sideline and lateraled the ball to him, turning it into a 4th and 1 play. Perine, who hasn't been with the team long, was ready for it because he'd seen Kelce pull off these kinds of moves in practice. Although Kelce had never actually pitched it Perine's way before, Perine stayed with him, and the move worked out perfectly. This sequence was pivotal for the Chiefs. Carr had to leave the game with an oblique injury, and the Chiefs took full advantage of the turnover on downs. Juju made an impressive sliding catch, and then on 3rd and short, Mahomes pulled off a great run. He scrambled up the left sideline, pump faked, and dove for a first down. It was initially ruled short, but Andy Reid challenged the call and won. From there, Mecole Hardman and Kareem Hunt moved the Chiefs back into the red zone. Unfortunately, a holding penalty by Creed Humphrey pushed them out of scoring range again, so Butker kicked another field goal, making it a 13-point game. This was the story of the night for the Chiefs, finishing just 2 for 7 in the red zone. Penalties and mistakes either negated touchdowns or pushed them back, forcing them to settle for field goals. The final score doesn't show how close this game could have been if the Chiefs had converted more in the red zone. It easily could have been a 47 blowout if a few things had gone their way. After that final field goal by Butker, backup quarterback Jake Haener came in to finish the night for the Saints, but it was already over. The Chiefs' defense suffocated Haener, and the Saints' offense couldn't get anything going. With this win, the Chiefs improved to 5-0 as they head into their bye week, tied with the Vikings for the best record in the league. This was another dominant performance by the Chiefs' defense, holding Alvin Kamara to just 26 yards on 11 carries. The defense has been outstanding against top running backs like Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, Bijan Robinson, J.K. Dobbins, and Alvin Kamara, limiting them to just 2.6 yards per carry on average this season. The Chiefs' defense has been a huge part of their success this season. Against the Saints, they held them to just 13 points, allowing only 4 out of 10 conversions on third down and stopping them on both of their fourth down attempts. The Saints managed just 4.3 yards per play, which shows how dominant the Chiefs' defense was. On the offensive side, Kareem Hunt outperformed Alvin Kamara, with Hunt rushing 27 times for 102 yards and a touchdown. His yards per carry average dropped a bit toward the end, but in the first half, the Chiefs were averaging a staggering 5.8 yards per carry. Hunt's ability to create extra yards by making defenders miss was impressive, earning him a game ball in his return to Arrowhead. Juju Smith-Schuster also had a strong performance with 7 catches for 130 yards. If not for that one tough play, he could have had even more, possibly 8 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown. He's another player deserving of a game ball. Travis Kelce made a big impact too, mainly in the first half. He caught 9 passes for 70 yards and contributed with key blocks. It would be great to see Mecole Hardman get more involved in these short passing plays as well. There are some concerns though. Mahomes has thrown 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions so far this year, tying him for the most interceptions in the league alongside Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. While that stat is concerning, watching last night's game didn't make me too worried about Mahomes. The offense looks different from previous seasons, and it's clear this is more of a defense-first team now. As long as Mahomes and the offense can play clean football, even settling for field goals when needed, they're likely to win games more often than not. The primary concern on offense is their red zone performance and turnovers. They rank 4th worst in the NFL with a turnover differential of -4, yet they're still undefeated. The offense has been performing at a B- level most of the time, but they're winning these games regardless. If they can clean up the turnovers, things will improve dramatically. The bye week should help them work on these issues, especially with the loss of several key weapons throughout the season. As for injuries, the Chiefs seem to escape this game mostly unscathed. However, it's worth mentioning that left tackle Wanya Morris left for a few plays after injuring his right knee. He was checked out on the sideline, but managed to return and finish the game. This is the same knee he previously had a bone bruise on, so it's encouraging that he could come back and finish the game. In other news, Rashee Rice underwent successful LCL surgery today, performed by Dr. Cooper in the Dallas, Texas area. Reports confirm that there was also a repair done to his hamstring tendon, but there was no other structural damage, no ACL, PCL, or meniscus issues. The expected recovery time is around 4 months, meaning he'll miss the rest of the regular season. While a full recovery is expected, there's no realistic chance he'll return by the Super Bowl. Dr. Jesse Morse mentioned that LCL injuries requiring surgery are rare, and Rice won't be able to start rehabbing his hamstring until at least the 4-month mark, which takes us to February 8th. Unfortunately, this means Rice is done for the season, and given his legal issues, there's a chance he could face a suspension at the start of next year. The length of the suspension is unknown, but it could range from 4 to 8 games or more. So, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs' performance against the Saints and their outlook moving forward? Until next time, let's go Chiefs!